Yep. All right, let's call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Later on, I'll ask for something to do with budget transfers.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that,
It can
you
be
can say-
under board matters if you
Right.
want.
So under board matters, we'll add an item or clarify an item to
Mhm.
discuss budget transfer. I'll write this down, so don't forget. Any other changes to tonight's agenda? If not, we'll go to the first section of public comments. I'll just ask Ruben to bring up the.
Okay, so this is a policy for our school board meetings and public participation at board meetings. We reserve a couple 15-minute periods of time. Typically, the individuals who are making public comments will keep their comments to about 3 minutes. Individuals can ask the board chair, Chris Ratcliffe, if they need more time. There's some statements in there about if there's complaints, how to go about with those. And that's it.
Yeah, and I think you have a microphone here. You can speak into the microphone and just give your name and town of residence. Before you speak. I'm assuming that people are here to make public comments. I see people sitting here with pieces of paper, so. Which is not usually the case, but yeah, whenever you guys are ready, go ahead. Sure. Start. You go wait for that. Thank you.
My name is Bob Meissner. Is this recording all right? Great. My name is Bob Meissner. I've been a resident in the Monadnock region for about 24 years. Jaffrey here for the last 7 years, live on Ingalls Road. And this is my wife, Jill Fishman. I was a substitute teacher here during the first quarter of this year. And I'm here to share my story. And I'm asking you, Chris, for a little more time, maybe than 3 minutes, to be able to do a good job here. It's really not a complaint, but rather a want to express the story of what happened and how we might make things better for substitute teachers, because it was an odd experience, I'll say it that way. So here's a little of the backstory. I was a substitute during the first quarter of this year. I'm not going to mention names because I'm not criticizing anybody, but one of the assistant principals informed me that a student had complained that I got too close to them. So they came to my classroom, pulled me out, and said, "Hey, somebody complained that you got too close." I said, "Oh, okay. What is too close?" And she said, they said, this is about the right distance. I said, okay, I know that. I mean, I've been here and I noticed that paras actually touch other people and that we come in and out of school and we have encounters. When I taught at the Jaffrey grade school, the kids would come and hug my knees. So, I didn't peel them off me. I just let it happen. So I was confused. I didn't understand what that meant. And I asked her, well, can you tell me more about that? And she said, that's all I can say. Within 2 weeks of, let's go to something else. Then this I can mention because she was copied to 3 emails. Sarah said to me, Sarah Gravel said, hey, let's meet. I said, great, and she and one of her assistants called me into her office. I came on time, of course, and sat down and she said, what happened? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I thought maybe you might be able to inform me what happened. She said, I don't know. I said, okay, well, how can I help here? She said, I think you're fine. Just go about doing your substitute teaching. I said, well, if you're interested, I'll tell you how I substitute. And I'll say that here for the record, that I'm not the kind of individual who puts his feet up on the desk and just lets chaos take place, but rather engages. An example was when I taught a class on the Civil War, for example. I know a good bit about the Civil War, and there were 21 questions. I could have just handed it over and say, here, you just take care of the 21 questions. And I said, this might be more fun if we do this interactively. Let's talk about, Dred Scott, or where the Civil War started, or where the Underground Railroad. Oh, do you know the Underground Railroad? We have a railroad here, an extensive one. I'm on the board of the Monadnock Region Rail Trail Collaborative. So, we got a really cool thing going here. So that's part of how I engage. But I also know never to touch anybody. There wasn't any manual for substitute teaching. So my sister, who was a middle school teacher for 25 years, wrote the substitute manual for the largest school district in Florida, because she was the mentor in that, and gave me her notes. I reformatted them for SAU 47. I gave it to one of the people who interviewed me, saying, hey, this is what I understand. Is there a mentor for me? No, there's no mentors here. Oh, okay. Well, is there somebody that I can dialogue with so that I don't hit the third rail? So, no, just come and do your job. So maybe this was inevitable, what happened. So when I was this event, within a couple of weeks, the end of March, I was terminated. I was not allowed to do any more substitute teaching. And here's why I'm here tonight. I didn't know why. As a public servant, and other not-for-profit boards and etc., including I was on Team Jaffrey, and I mentioned the Rail Trail Collaborative and so on. So I wanted to know what happened. So I wrote to David. I wrote and Ruben has a copy of an exchange, an email saying, David, let's sit down. Tell me what happened. Let me learn. Let me find out how I can be a better substitute.
This.
How can I be a better substitute?
Non-public if you want.
What can I do?
So I didn't, we're talking about two situations, one a personnel issue and one bringing someone else in there. So we violated a couple parts of the policy.
So
So we had a non-public
he didn't
or-
reply.
If-
And then I sent a
Yeah.
follow-up to that.
I
And-
agree, we're kind of talking about a personnel complaint situation.
No, I'll close now.
I think in the beginning, right, we were talking about kind of how we could do better and.
We can,
everything.
that's how it's going to end. But if you don't if we don't understand what happened, Chris, then
Yeah.
where are we gonna go from here?
No, and
So,
again, I'm just saying there's other forums, right, where we can.
Well,
we can talk
David
about
didn't
the
reply.
If you want to go into.
David didn't reply, and Ruben
Yeah,
had
we
said,
have to shut this down.
Yeah,
David, don't reply.
can we,
So that's why I'm here tonight to say,
So Bob, I think that this is where when you start to say, well, David did this and Ruben did this, that's where you're crossing over. And I think what Chris is trying to say.
yeah, we can talk about it in non-public with us, right? You'll
but,
still have an-
of course, I
you'll
would
still have
love
an
that.
audience. It's just a private personnel matter, so we could, if you'd like to
Okay.
continue, go into non-public where, if we choose, we could hear the rest of what you have to say.
And
We just-
it's your pleasure.
We do want to hear from you, but I want to.
No, I
Because
want to
we're
do the
following
right
our
thing. I
policy.
wanted,
Yeah.
I
No, no,
don't know all the rules, so I
Yeah.
apologize in that
I
sense.
probably let it go on a little bit further. on
No,
policy,
that's
but It's not your fault.
You-
But I think we would possibly like to hear what else you have to say, but the appropriate form would be a non-public session, which.
That would be just delightful, and it's very constructive. We want to bring closure. I have some ideas about how to help in this situation. So will you tell me when and where? All right? And with that, I'll stop. To whom do I give the microphone? Thank you, sir.
Do we have any other public comments?
Unless you want me to go after.
Oh, no, I was telling him to give you the
No,
microphone.
that's okay. I know you guys are trying to do other business.
This is what this is for.
All right, so I'm Ann Claude, resident of Jaffrey. I have 3 kids here at Conant. And I have a freshman, Miles, who wants to be an aerospace engineer and was planning on taking engineering and design 1 through 4 at Conval. And is a New Hampshire STEM Scholar student. Sorry. And I reached out to Conval to find out about how the class is structured, because I didn't want him to have a scheduling conflict. And Jen Kiley, the director, tells me that ATC no longer has an engineering teacher and that they are sending their students for engineering and computer networking to Milford. Milford is also accepting the students who are going to be going to Conval for the same program. To Messinic was also going to go to Conval for the same program, and they're sending their students to Milford as well. The director at Milford's ATC, Samantha Belcourt, reached out to our school here and offered a tour and for people to go over and take a look at their engineering program, and was declined. I have reached out directly to administration. I'm being offered for Miles to do manufacturing at Conval. And then another updated email was that potentially a VLOX introduction to engineering concepts, that's a half a credit course, would be an alternative. The program at Conval or at Conant and the one at Milford both offer Running Start New Hampshire credits. Milford offers up to 17 college credits for their students and other certifications. These 2 programs that Miles is being offered are not comparable. There are 4 students total from this school who are interested in the pre-engineering program at Conval, and 4 students who are interested in the computer networking program at Conval. There's no communication to parents. The students aren't aware that they're not going to be offered this preparatory program. And I just feel like I'm not getting any good answers or any good options or alternatives. Like, we pride and focus on STEM here, but we're not supporting these students who have chosen engineering as the pathway for them. And I've reached out to the New Hampshire Department of Education, and I don't know who's aware amongst this group and what else can be done. Sorry.
Well, thank you for coming in and going.
Thank you. Guess I'll leave it to John, do you have something to say, or?
Just, I think it's just hard for us to know what to say, you know, but we appreciate hearing from you, and I guess we'll discuss this and try and figure out what, you know, what if anything we can do.
Just last year, we didn't get notified that there was no 9th grade science teacher until a week before school started. So I'm a little hyper vigilant now about making sure I know what's going on for my students. Thank you.
No,
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
And Claude,
Oh, okay, thank you.
KLAUD.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, so. Conval doesn't have the program, Milford denied.
No, Conval does not have an engineering teacher. And so they're not gonna be able to offer free engineering.
Yeah.
It's 1 through 4 here.
Yeah.
Is what was offered, and computer networking. There's 4 students
Yeah.
from each of those that were interested in each of those programs. So 4 for free engineering, 4 for computer networking. And Conval is sending their students to Milford. The
Okay,
students that were supposed to go to Conval from Messinic are going to Milford.
okay,
In
but
this,
not us.
Milford reached out to administration here and offered to have a tour, pay for the bus to get people over there to look at the program, and they were declined.
Oh, Milford was declined by us.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Thank you for clarifying that.
No, sorry.
No,
Sorry
no, it's
for
okay.
my hot mess.
It's okay, it's okay.
is the computer networking, is that also related to no teacher?
Yes, that's my understanding from my conversation with
Okay.
Milford, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And my previous conversation with Jen at Conval, we don't have the teacher, that's why they can't offer the program.
And can I just ask clarification? If we partnered with Milford, we would be transporting the students to Milford and back.
Yes. Yeah, but my understanding is that students have the right to the CTE education, that there are funds through the state for the CTE education and the transportation.
You know, are Conval and the scenic banding together? Is there like a, I don't even know if that can happen, like a transportation co.
All right, I don't know
Okay,
how they're working that out.
okay,
But
okay, thank you.
I have the contact at Milford and Conan or Conval. You.
Thank you.
So I would encourage you to call the principal and the assistant principal of curriculum and have a conversation with them.
I have reached out to the administrator I was talking to last week. Well, the week before I reached out, she told me to wait until the end of last week, and that's when she offered the manufacturing program, which is not the same. And have asked for an in-person conversation.
Yep, so I would encourage you to contact the principal and have a conversation with him. There, I don't know as though. I think there's more information to that story, especially relative to the conversations with Milford. One thing for the board to note, it is driving to Milford and being there at 7 some odd in the morning would require people to be leaving Jaffrey a lot sooner than Peterborough and New Ipswich going to Milford. But reaching out to David Dustin would be a good next step.
Do you have any other comments on this or from the board, or any other further public comments? Go ahead, John.
Mr. Meissner, should we schedule something, or is that something we'll do afterwards, or what?
I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. We could either meet briefly right now or schedule at a future meeting. I would like to continue that conversation that you requested in a non-public session, but I'll leave it to the board to determine when we do that. We could either do it at a future meeting, at a scheduled non-public time. I guess that would be my preference, just in the interest of staying on the agenda, or we could do it now if someone was so inclined to make that motion.
So I think it will work better if we could schedule this for another night, like 2 weeks from now. Is that acceptable to you?
It certainly is, but I would say you heard 60% of what I have to say.
Well, we just want you to know that we happy to hear the rest of what you have to say. We just want to stick with the policy.
Yes, I definitely
Yes, I
do the
know.
policy, just so that we don't have to schedule another one. We can, I would like to suggest that after a bit of further discussion, you might decide, okay, well, set. Let's do A, B, and C, the action items that I hope will happen from here. Positive action items, and that could happen another year. But I think it wouldn't take long to get to that point where we know what we need to do next, John. You'll call.
Should we say,
I
here,
think you get-
here, the 40% left, is what he's asking, I think, and figure out what we want to do at a later date.
Exactly, yeah. If anything.
And what did you say, do it right now, like turn things off, pause, like how
I
do
mean, I
you
think
do
we could
that?
do it at a. I mean, we've done it before. It's not I think, standard practice, but. Or we can continue on with the agenda. I guess I'll leave it to
I would
we do it at the
prefer, I would
end?
prefer that we schedule it.
Yeah.
So that we allocate time and non-public to do it.
Yeah.
That would be my,
yeah, myself as well. I think we can, and it can be at your convenience, right? We can either do it next meeting after, or we could dedicate the time, right? If we do it now, I think we're gonna be. Limited. We like to try to limit these
Sure.
public comments to 3 minutes. We've already spent half an hour.
No, and I
Right.
apologize.
No. I think it's absolutely fine, but I think the most expedient thing, for the conductor, for us to conduct the rest of the businesses, we'll be in touch. And we'll schedule a future session where you can have the time
Thank you,
to wrap this up. If
So,
that works with you.
Charles, John, you say when next Monday's on. I can say that right now. but-
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you an email, right, or.
Ruben has my email.
If Ruben has your email, we can be in touch, and I'll be in touch, later this week with that time.
That sounds great. I'm gonna leave you with my business card right now, so that, because what you have, I sent all this through this, and I don't have a single number anymore. So this is how to get it. And I'll close with that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming.
also, so my understanding on the engineering scheduling issue is that if David doesn't resolve it, Ruben will, either way, Ruben will give us a resolution. Okay.
This is status on what happened or what the other things stand.
I mean, clearly, I don't know all sides of the story, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I think I've followed Ruben's suggestion, again, per our kind of process, if you feel like you're not satisfied with that, I would contact Ruben, and then from there to the board for sure, but, you like to treat it as a conversation and try to solve the problem, but certainly if you're not satisfied with the responses, then that is, after talking to principal, Ruben, and then certainly the board. Okay?
Good luck. Just wanted to say good luck. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more public comments? Anything online? All right. So moving on to the student representative report. Trust that you're here, Mary.
I know. I stayed after the barbecue
We
because
appreciate
I was in the building, so figured I'd stop by. It's okay. It's officially my last meeting. I know I said that last time, but I'm here again. But
Just love it so much.
oh yeah, but I'm graduating this Friday, so this is for sure my last meeting. Thank you. I haven't had other people come to me with everything. The band had their field trip 2 Thursdays ago. And the senior class had their trip yesterday, and we had our barbecue today, and we have a whole plethora of events happening this week. But I
How
don't,
was the trip?
it's pretty fun.
Both of them.
Yeah, they were, I really enjoyed Boston. I went last year. It's really cool to be able, as a performing arts student, to be able to see other people performing, because that's not something I necessarily get to see all the time.
because I am in high school. Like for the elementary school, they get to come up and watch the high school, and I'm really glad that we can do that for them, but there's not always something like that for us. So when we go to Boston, it's really nice to see, and we get to learn about other jobs that we could do. And we get like a new perspective on the performing arts field. So yeah, I really enjoyed the trips. And the trip over the weekend was pretty fun. A lot of people said we went on a DJ dinner cruise, and that was that was pretty exciting.
I heard it was a real good one.
A lot of people said it was better than prom. So
That's perfect.
yeah, we had a lot of fun.
That's good.
What was it, Maddie?
We went to Lake George in New
Oh,
York.
very cool.
Yeah. So it was a rough bus ride, 3 hours, but our bus driver was really nice, and we had a coach bus, so it was definitely better than a school bus.
Excellent. That's fun. Yeah, it's a good trip.
Well, thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
We already complimented you profusely last
Yeah.
time, but we'll say again, thank you for coming, and I know all of us are looking forward to attending as many of the awards ceremonies and your graduation. It's always I know a highlight for us on the board to point of pride to see these great classes, move along, but we'll certainly miss you. Make
I'll
sure
miss
you
being
know,
here.
if you know any juniors or.
I'm trying to get my sister.
Underclassmen,
I know,
talk
but-
it up, because we are. I think we're learning how to have this new student representative, and I think the position will grow and grow as we go forward, as we learn how best to use it. And as
Yeah, my
students.
sister's a sophomore right now, but she doesn't really like public speaking, so
Excellent. Well, you tell her how nice we are.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Maddie. I
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
Being here today, and we'll see you later this week.
I will. I'm gonna sneak out now instead of later.
Excellent.
Sounds good. Take care, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
this week.
Thank you.
So moving on to the superintendent's report.
So yeah, this is a busy week. And so, they're actually a busy couple of weeks. And so again, we do have several senior events this week. We just had the barbecue tonight. We'll have awards. Baccalaureate is going to be at the Cathedral of the Pines on Wednesday evening. The awards ceremony is going to be on Thursday evening. Friday, of course, is the graduation here in the Pratt Auditorium. Next week, we have Monday and Tuesday, some similar events. So we have at Ringe Memorial School and Jaffrey Grade School, they have the 5th grade recognition. Jaffrey Grade Schools starts at 5:30. Ringe's starts at 6. So for those individuals who plan to attend in those areas, I'll be starting off at Jaffrey Grade School, then moving my way over to Ringe Memorial School. And then on Tuesday, middle school has the 8th grade celebration. Last day of school is the 12th. That's a half day. As everything's wrapping up, we'll be sending the ledger some information about our seniors this week, as they've asked for that information for their publication. And also a publication that we'll be putting out is our 4th and final of the year Jaffrey Ringe Cooperative School District newsletter that will be coming out within the next several weeks. We'll highlight some items that we haven't highlighted before, a little bit more information about STEM over at the elementary level, as we a little bit of a reflection of what happened with Dorothy Meehan and her first year doing that, and then a look ahead to Ringe Memorial School starting and implementing its program over there. Also a little more information on CTE, where we're at with that, and then some meetings that will be, scheduled for further feedback and input. CTE as it pertains to this site right here. The boys baseball team is in the semifinals. I believe they won their game this past weekend against Guilford, and seems like we played Guilford a lot within sports these last couple of years. I've never been to Guilford, but we've gone back and forth quite a bit. But they're in the semifinals. I believe that's tomorrow, and then if they were to win, or when they win that game, they would go on to the finals on Saturday. Saturday, I believe the finals are in Manchester. I don't know the time at this point in time. However, maybe it will fit the right time frame for you to go see that game and then go over to what else is happening on Saturday, which is the award ceremony for you. And so the Saturday evening is the statewide Excellence in Education Award Ceremony. The school board is being recognized as the 2024 School Board of the Year. We do need to have a final count of individuals who are going to be attend. We know a couple individuals can't. That means we have some seats open. So if you have a spouse or a partner or a friend who you'd like to, bring along, just let me know. So we have I think we have seats for 7 board members and myself. And so however many are not able to attend, that's how many open spots we have. And I need to get that information to them within the next day or two, just so that they're aware.
If there is a seat available,
Mhm.
my spouse would
Yep.
come along.
I'm not going to your spouse.
Oh, I won't be there, so
Hmm?
I will not be there.
You will not be able to attend?
No.
Okay. So,
But John's gonna pick up any goodies for me.
okay,
Oh, goodies, okay, swag. You want swag?
Yeah, swag. Load up on a swag for me, John.
All right,
or Sandy. That's all right. Sandy, no. No Kim. Okay, so
I
Got it.
can go.
John, Lisa, and Chris. Good. Okay, and then John +1. All right, so that
We'll be
is,
Speaking about baseball, the game tomorrow, do you know where it's being played?
hmm,
In Laconia, I think.
yeah, I don't know who they're playing.
They're leaving early.
Yeah,
There's some how does that hold? That's.
if we go into NHIAA, we should be able to
Okay.
find out
Good.
that information.
Is that scheduled? Not, this is something we can talk about, I don't know, but that schedule, is that just like, does that happen every year? I guess I've never really noticed where basically all the seniors on the team have to miss out on a lot of senior things because of baseball?
Well, I think probably it's a long season, or I should say the season that has quite a few games, and sometimes they start late due to the wet weather. Yeah, and so they have to kind of cram everything in and get some things get pushed back. So I think schools get out a little bit later. And so they might not miss out on all those events. And I think everyone does things differently. So we weren't in the finals last year
Yeah.
or the semifinals, I don't think. So I don't know what it normally would be during the springtime. I think that when the girls won the tennis finals several years back, there were some conflicts during that time frame. There's just a lot of end of the year activities, proms, everything just
I mean, they
has conflict with
got a
another.
little bit lucky because they're not missing graduation. I think Monadnock, if they make it, those seniors miss their actual walking graduation.
Or they have to ask for an adjustment, a time or something. I don't know what they would do. Yeah, it's very
And our
difficult.
kids missed a lot. It's.
Yeah, I talked to a
that's
couple
difficult, yeah.
individuals who indicated that
Yeah,
that's been.
didn't know if that's something that can be looked at in the future.
Mhm.
Ahead of time in any way, shape or form, because, I mean, they're playing for the school,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense, so.
One other thing to think about is that when the school board is awarded their bell is what it is. It's gonna be a kind of a bell about this large, well, about this big, a little bit, and go out that way. There is a 1-minute acceptance speech, up to 90 seconds if you want it. And so one individual gets to do that. So
I so would have done it, guys.
if
sorry.
I know, I was thinking Tim's gonna get up there. So if you'd like to, if anyone would like to, I mean, I can do it, but I would certainly want a board member to do it if they,
I'd rather
Would like
John
to.
do it.
Yeah, I think John, as the chair, should.
I was I was gonna say that as current chair, I think you'd be very.
Not gonna lie, Lisa's pretty good at public
I am, and I'm
speaking.
gonna look great. I have a great dress for this,
There you go, get
I
up
know.
there and say.
but no, I
speak.
still think John should do it.
Wow.
All right, so it'll be settled. John, and you can let me,
I've been voluntold.
you can let me know if that's not going to take a place and I'll have something.
It's your.
I'll have a
Think
backup.
of it as your final act. John.
I'll have a
Sure.
backup. So, all right,
You wrote up all the stuff for the.
1 minute. They will give you a timer. And that's it for now. We're just winding down the season. We have professional development that we're gonna be doing. We have all of our literacy materials just about have come in. You saw some of them a little bit tonight. So but all the elementary schools got the bulk of theirs. Last Friday was there in RMS for the order, helping the people get the shipments off the truck. So things are falling into order that way.
Well, that's great that you were able to get that. That donation. I know it took a long time, a lot of patience.
The donation or the,
Oh, are you talking now about the furniture?
I'm not talking about the furniture. No, we'll talk about that another time. That is
Okay.
a conversation, although that's moving along in a nice way. I was talking about the board approved literacy materials. So
When we're
reading
on top of.
lots and, I mean, boxes and pallets of materials. Yeah, they
Okay.
came in and they came
Okay.
in at a good time and just in time for our teachers to be utilizing those for the remainder of the year and getting ready for next year.
Okay.
We had several people go on site visits last week to other schools as well
Yeah,
as
they're-
part of this change
yeah,
process
they're
that we've been
using
doing.
the materials in it.
Yep.
Good. Did I, I thought I noticed new furniture in the library. Is that
We had some furniture donated from that church in Keene.
There's some chairs, but I don't think that was in the library, no.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay, we had a meeting of
Mhm.
students potentially interested in youth exchange last
Mhm.
Thursday. And we were sitting in furniture in the library that I hadn't seen before. It's very nice.
Okay.
Wooden sort of rocking chairs, not really rocking chairs, but they're made so that you have that option.
Oh, yeah, no, those, I think we've had those for a couple of years, but we don't use those very often,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Any other questions for Ruben on the superintendent's report tonight?
Sure. Yes, I just was curious whether there was any update on the after-school program. I know that it's gonna move step by step. It takes time, but just was curious if there's been.
Yes, I did have a meeting today with John Frederick, this morning at 10 o'clock over at the, downtown Jaffrey. We chatted about next steps. What I would say is that the town still remains committed a little, we're looking at a different path than perhaps we were on before. What the town had done is they had gone and surveyed 3 or 4 other communities whose town or recreation program or entities within the town run the after-school program over there. And so just looking at what are the pitfalls, what are the struggles, what are the musts, what do you need? They found out some really great information, starting to put together kind of an organization chart of what they would need. And so actually I've sent some emails and made some phone calls as we would need to have someone who could oversee the day-to-day pieces of the program. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay, good. Thank you for that.
Any other questions for Ruben? We can move on to the consent agenda. Next.
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Thank you, Charlie. So we have a motion to accept the consent agenda. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Lisa. Any discussion or questions on the items on the consent agenda? We have, per usual, the manifests, field trips to France and Spain, the nominations and resignations that I know we've discussed previously, stipend list.
The trip to France and Spain sounds wonderful. And I know that this early on, it will take a while until they know how many students actually have signed up and made their initial payments. I was curious how much the trip costs and whether they have, some students already committed, but that's just a curiosity. It's certainly not something I need to know to vote on this.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it says in the request.
Well,
I think they're looking for our approval so they can develop that itinerary.
sure.
It
Absolutely.
says affordable in there, so.
Well, it's neat that they're looking out like that at trips like that. So,
It does indicate, if we look over here, transportation to Logan, flight out of Boston, flight, expected transportation costs, it's included in the tour cost, so it sounds like
Yeah, it's a
it's a
student funded,
organization, okay,
yeah.
organization.
So they develop the itinerary. Any other questions or comments on tonight's consent agenda? Right, we have a motion and a second, so all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions? So that passes. How many people? Is Charlie still down there? 4.
Yes,
Can't see
yes.
you, Charlie. 5-0. Great. And the action item, fiscal year 25, food service contract award.
So we can look at this right here. This is from the Chief Financial Officer, Carrie Shields. She states the business office is recommending the renewal of the Abbey Group for the 2024-25 fiscal year as the district's food service management company. The original agreement dated July 1, 2023 included terms for up to 4 successive 1-year renewal periods. If approved, fiscal year 2024-25 would be the first of those 4. You had a presentation at the last board meeting from the company. We actually had quite a conversation with them. I think that the general consensus is that it has been a good change and has been a good implementation here with the Abbey Group. Certainly from a district standpoint, some more conversations around our policies and practices would need to be looked at or are being asked to be looked at, but yes, Charlie.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve renewal of the Abbey Group as manager of district's food service operations for 24-25, and authorize Superintendent Duncan to execute amendment number 1 on behalf of the district.
Thank you, Charlie.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kim. Any more discussion or comment on approving the Abbey Group? I don't think so. I'll just say to echo what Ruben said, and I think the feelings of the board, I was very impressed with their showing here at the last meeting. I think they're off to a good start and certainly worthwhile to stay with it and see what more they can do for us. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions. Again, 5-0.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May 20th.
Thank you, Lisa.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kim. All those in favor of, or any discussion, questions on those minutes? All those in favor of approving the minutes for May 20th, 2024, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions? So minutes are accepted. And we'll move on to board committee updates.
I have
Let's start down here, Lisa.
Policy Committee will not be meeting this Thursday. as scheduled. It is being changed to, so I'll speak slowly as I get to it. It is being changed to, June 19th, Wednesday at 3 p.m. And Legislation Committee will have their first meeting June 18th at 3 p.m. And both of those, we're hoping to use the superintendent's conference room or the downstairs conference room. So 18th and 19th of June, 3 p.m. Legislation's first, policy second.
So I'll be on vacation that week. So that room is open.
Okay.
Yep.
If you wouldn't mind, I would like to have more conversation about the AI and about the, so the academic integrity and the other one that we were discussing, that we were having the admin kind of take a look at before, kind of, anyways, I'll email them to you.
Yep.
If you could just kind of remind the admin and send notes, that'd be great.
The two policies from last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they have any stuff. If they don't have anything yet, that's fine. Yeah, those particular policies affect the handbook. So that's why we want to get the information in.
Finance Committee's meeting next week.
All right. John, any committee updates?
No, we met just before the last board meeting and gave an update then. Our next meeting will be 2 weeks from today.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, that completes the board committee updates for tonight. And on to discussion items. And we have one item on here, furniture donation.
Okay, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. It's starting to come to fruition. So I've been looking for different types of furniture to be able to outfit various portions of the district. Perhaps not getting as much as I would like, because the college has decided to keep certain pieces of furniture that originally they were indicating they might depart with or part with. But I plan on bringing, probably at the next board meeting, there will be a link to this that will have the items and the estimated cost of donating. I've requested the cost. I requested it for tonight. It hasn't come my way, but regardless, our policy indicates that if the donation is above a certain amount, I think it's like above $20,000. I think that's what it is. I believe this donation would be worth more than $20,000. It could be worth quite a bit more than that. That means that once we have that information, we would want to set up a time for a public hearing, because we have to have a public hearing to accept those donations. So really what I'd be looking for here, since I don't have information at this point in time, is, I have a list of the materials that we're looking for, a couple of refrigerators, some other items, lots of desks, chairs, office chairs, office furniture, things of that nature. SNHU has donated to a couple other schools already. We have a little bit of a different policy, which requires us to have a value to it. So that's what's taking the time, but we'll get that. I have email confirmation that that's the case, and we will hopefully have that very shortly. If and when I get that information, would you like me to hold on to it till the next board meeting and then go from there after having some discussion and looking at it to see if this is of the board, if the board is interested in this? Or do you want me to go forward and advertise for a public hearing so we can get that on the record, on the books, in a sense, to get this going forward?
I'd like you to have a public hearing.
Yeah, I don't object to that.
I would say advertise for the hearing.
Yeah, because we have to have 7 days to even get that done, so it's going to take some time. Okay. that will help speed up the process.
Ruben, which is the week that you'll be gone?
The next board meeting, actually, the 17th.
Okay.
That week.
So we can get a lot accomplished.
You can get an amazing amount accomplished during that time frame. It's your
Just kidding,
opportunity.
just
Yeah. I might send someone in my stead here to help out. No, that'll be, probably will, but it'll be good.
And I guess on that topic of upcoming board meetings, right? The next board meeting is the 17th.
Mhm.
The one after that is July 1st. I think I remember from last year, I think we had canceled that eventually. I know that I won't be around that week, of July 1st. We don't have to decide now, and I know that we're missing a few members, but I don't know, other people, we're gonna be around that week or away. It's just like but traditionally a holiday week. So Kim won't be here. Chris won't be here. So we can, I'll get in touch with, I'll send an email out to Christine just to be sure that we have quorum or what the feeling is on that.
Another possibility is taking the average and doing the Monday, the last, not doing the 17th, but doing the Monday following. And then not doing the first, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Which I think, isn't that what we did
that's
last
what
year?
we did last year.
Yeah.
Between
Just
board.
did one
Yeah.
meeting in July. I would be open to that.
But that's up to, if you'd like, we can poll,
I think we'll do
we
that.
can do some options to poll the board. Okay. And we can,
So I'm guessing that
So that would be the 8th. There are 5 Mondays in July. So if we simply kept the 15th, that's smack in the middle, and that's a scheduled school board meeting, so it simply mean not coming in on the 1st.
So you're saying skip the first, but have the first meeting on the 15th?
We'll skip the first one and just know that the 15th is gonna be a catch-up meeting.
and that will still allow for 2 meetings in a month.
No,
So not the last one.
only one meeting in July. There are 5 Mondays.
So we could have 5 meetings then, if
We could,
we don't want to do it.
Excuse me.
could, John.
Excuse me.
But no, I am suggesting, and I think I think this would line up, that we meet on the 15th of only in July.
And then
I
the
second.
August meeting is until the 7th, is that right?
And then our what?
The first August meeting in August would be on the 7th?
That's a Wednesday.
It will be on a 5.
The 5th.
It's the
the
5th,
okay.
yes.
So do we have to decide that tonight?
No,
no, I'll
'Cause I
get
have no
together,
idea what's coming
yeah, I
up.
think we should.
I'll get together a little bit of a survey
But we should do
together
that.
and give some different options. Yeah, I think that it's probably, but I'm writing these down as ideas.
Cause I don't know when the public hearing's gonna be.
And that factors into this.
Makes a whole nother meeting.
Well, which is why I was thinking like if we didn't do the 17th, but we did the 24th, and then, that might be time, but that's all contingent upon whether SNHU gets us the information. But I'll keep on, I'll be emailing the person a couple times this week if not. But yeah, I'll put out a survey.
And
That
Chris,
way there'll be private responses, not
if
big
you have to
responses.
miss it, you're allowed to miss a meeting or 2.
I haven't missed one yet, John.
No, I know it, but when
I'm
we
gonna
take,
manipulate the schedule so that I don't.
you shouldn't feel bad, and I know Christine will do a great job. Assuming she's around, right? You never know.
I just know that week of the first week of July is usually a tough one
Sure.
for people.
Sure.
I think I may have moved on to board matters beforehand, but we started talking about it with the
Yep.
furniture donation. and
Yep.
So,
So what I'm hearing is go forward with the public hearing, scheduling the
Yes.
public hearing if we get information. Yep. Okay, thank you.
and that may have a bearing on when we have that next board meeting.
That's right.
To the public hearing. Any other discussion items we didn't have on the agenda? Ruben, I think we'll talk about the budget transfer now or during.
Did you want to go to public
Oh, no.
comments or that's
Let's
the
do-
next item on the
Let's go
agenda
next.
is
Alright.
public comments too? Or we, yeah.
No, we'll do public comments. So we'll have our second session of public comments now. open it up to the guests online. And certainly if you have anything else, this is second session.
I'm planning on reaching out to Mr. Dustin, but there's also 7 other students that are potentially affected by this.
7 in addition to the 4?
Yeah, there's 4 students in the engineer that were interested in engineering, 4 students who were interested in the computer
Network,
networking. There's 8 total students. So I'm aware because I tried to reach out with my question about the scheduling. But my understanding is this has not been communicated to students and parents yet. So there are 7 other students who don't know. This is sounding like it's not an option.
I just did, if I can, join, I did a quick, review to see where the CTE programs are offering it. And Milford not only is the closest, but there's nothing else. Like, and everything else is north and east, like there's nothing within an hour, like this is wild how.
Yeah.
And I know that, that Conval had been, like, I don't think they had, I might be wrong, but I don't think they had an engineering teacher all last year. Like they've been searching for so long for this person. For a person, you know, it's just wild, but there aren't any like this, nothing like it. Like this is a very bizarre situation, in a region that we have engineers everywhere. Like this is what our region does, is manufacturing, engineering, you know, like that,
Yeah.
you know, this is what, you know, this is very interesting to me, that we can't find anybody. So I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wrong family.
Yeah.
Any public comments online?
I stand on your wish to get to it.
All right, so board matters. Ruben, you had mentioned potential budget transfers. You can start with that.
Sure. So as I met with the facilities and business office today, just to kind of make sure that we are on track with all the work that we are proposing to do during the end of the year, painting, carpeting, flooring, things of that nature. And if anything is a little behind, what's the process? Are we able to continue, start the project and then go into the summer, or what is it? So it would seem that as of right now that all of the flooring, because the material, I believe 90% of the materials are coming in, and they'll be able to get started during the month of June. We'll be able to have some time through the summer to be able to make sure all of that gets done. And the painting shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
There's other POs out there that take into consideration some grant funds or maybe trust funds, combined with some district funds, painting funds, to make sure that the Pratt is that has been painted properly. So that should be able to be done within the course of this month, or into, if it starts, into July. Other areas we talked about, we added the Jaffrey Grade School restorative classroom. I say part 2, it's really almost like we did part 2 this year, and it's really part 1. So it's the earlier K1, 2, 3 age groups that we would be having, or at least maybe one, I think it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, that age group in Jaffrey Grade School. In order to be able to have that along with the other one, we need to make sure that we have 1st floor. It has to be on the first floor, given the age of the learners. So as one reason to make some changes, the preschool section that brings in 3-year-olds who have some developmental delays or needs. All of that is going to be housed over at RMS, because that's where we can make the space for it. Or have the space for it if we rearrange some things. What that does do is that puts all of those, that bracket of preschool in the same area, so you can share resources, so that transportation goes to one location, so that administration from the central office can support all in one place rather than going back and forth. So everything, it's a efficient way of doing things, plus it's a better support system for the teachers. And it certainly doesn't harm students either in that process. It probably helps them out with some minor conflicts, perhaps with some Jaffrey parents that we'll have to work out. That in order to do that, we're getting quotes right now for taking down some of the walls that are there. We did this for another room that was there, but opening up the space. There's a lot of closet or offices that are in that other part of the modular there. So so that work has to be done in order to make sure that we can do this. Part of the painting and flooring is redoing both elementary schools we're talking about, libraries. I was over at RMS on Thursday and Friday all day, almost Thursday and all day Friday. And had some conversations with the librarian and talked about getting boxes to make sure all the books were packed up and everything. So that's easy enough to do. And so we scheduled that work today, getting the boxes and the tape and everything. In doing so, if we're putting down new flooring and if we're putting down new paint, if you look at the Jaffrey Grade School library, they have very nice bookcases. The furniture there is nice for the space that it has. RMS has very old, not as tasteful furniture and bookcases. And I know that the librarian asked many years ago for those to be replaced, but it was a lot of money during the time frame. I would like to be able to do that room well. If we're going to take out all the books and if we're going to redo the floors and we're going to do the painting, now's a good time before they put the books back to get new shelving at RMS. So I'd like to spend some of our money to be able to get that if possible. And then the other piece that we're talking about, along with the removing some walls from the RMS renovation, is putting up some walls, and this part wouldn't be very expensive, but putting one wall in the SAU that would allow for some more collaborative space. It would actually give a different space for the board to come in and do their signatures, possibly even meet once in a while. A collaborative space for the SAU group. It would take Sandy's current big room office and just split it into two, so HR would be on one side. Also upstairs here, they want to put a wall in the very large kind of classroom to make a better space for some of their work. So all of that work, the work over RMS and a few of these walls, we'd like to get done. Lastly, during the winter months over in RMS, there was a time, and you may have heard about it, that the EEI came in and brought heaters into the school because something wasn't working. Of course, we've had all that HVAC work, and so we figured something wasn't functioning properly that way. And there may have been a few items there that needed to be adjusted. What was taking place was that one of the boilers in the primary boiler, there's a backup boiler too, but the backup boiler was the only one working. The other one was not functioning properly. Now they were able to fix it in a sense, but it is what I'm being told is at end of life. And replacing that boiler over at RMS, it might be a good time to do that with some of the monies that we have.
So we're talking about some of the additional money that we approved in the special meeting?
No, that's not. That's still going to the flooring and the painting.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking at that earlier to see if that was going to be used or not for that purpose. Then I would say yes, but that is going to be utilized for that purpose. It appears that it will be able to be done. What I would ask is that you consider allowing us to, when we get the 3 quotes for everything, to allow Carrie to transfer funds from various lines that she would have access to the necessary lines to do some of this work. The estimated amounts are as follows. We do have one quote already for the RMS boiler, and it's just under 70,000. So it is something that's going to have to be done at some point in time.
Can that be encumbered? Is that what you're?
Encumber it, get a PO, do the work. Yeah. The RMS furniture, all of that, the estimates are around 50,000. And the repairs and renovation for the various walls around the district would be around 60,000. So for all of those items, that would be around 180,000 is what we're talking about.
How much?
180. Something 70, 50, yeah.
RMS boiler,
So can I just make a motion that we allow Carrie to transfer line items to make this happen, not to exceed 200,000?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lisa. All those in favor of Charlie's motion to allow for the budget transfers not to exceed $200,000 for the facilities and construction items that Ruben reviewed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And abstentions?
Right.
Yeah, that
thank you.
passes 5-0-0. Any other board matters to discuss tonight?
There's one.
Go ahead, Joe.
Sure. I'll try and make this quick. I forwarded an article from the Ledger Transcript. And it's a topic that's come to my mind for a while. Basically, there's an exchange student at Conval who.
Messinic.
And this student is from Thailand, has been taking classes here, however, was involved in a science program back home in her district of Thailand. And was able to take a course this year, a pretty advanced level science class that she was taking virtually. So she had the benefit of being involved in a school with students on a day-to-day basis, but was also doing a class virtually back in her community. And, it's occurred to me that for some of the kind of issues that sometimes arise, like the one that Mrs. Klaus has been talking about. I know that virtual high school may not, VLAX may not always have the classes that student is seeking. Do we have the option of going outside of VLAX, like the Khan Academy or other resources?
There's a variety of things that we've done in the past, and one, we've accepted credits from other online schools that people have done. We can certainly look at other options like that. We've also, if colleges, if Franklin Pierce University or Keene State has programming as well, sometimes that's an option we've been able to do. We were able to do that with some upper level math and science courses for some kids in the past. We have in the past also worked with Conval to do AP. I think with one student, they wanted an AP physics and calculus course, so doing that. So, I think that there's a lot of possibilities, and we want to explore a lot. So for instance, when you have conversations, there might be other possibilities. Again, and we try to find the possibilities that are going to be within a reasonable range
Right.
of our school. Because there's a lot of factors when we make decisions about going to different locations, or the domino effect on other parts of education as well. So we just have to, we have to
Right.
think about a lot of things. And so anything virtual buys us time. But not all content is done well virtually.
And one of the things that
Science is particularly not done well virtually.
it's something that's occurred to me, and maybe it was something that explained to me that stimulated this, is that
Mhm.
a type of mentoring, teacher to student,
Mhm.
would be probably an important part of that. Because not every student is gonna interact with an online experience effectively, especially if it's their first time doing it. And you know, having a contact person obviously would take their time, so it would be
Yeah.
part of a teacher's time. But a person who could be sort of a mentor to
Mhm.
explain how to start that kind of an online experience, but also have a periodic
Yeah,
check-in to see, is it
Mhm.
progressing?
right. I think there's actually an alternative school up north in New Hampshire, partly because of everything, once again, being so spread out up there. They have a school for learners who go do a variety of online courses and have teachers there to help support the process. That's the school,
Yeah,
but
right,
I think
right.
that at least it was. I don't know, that was like several years ago when I had heard about it.
Is that similar to the tutor.com that the DOE has paid for us?
No, no. Because tutor.com doesn't have full-blown courses. They have that. Well, it's tutoring or providing programs that help you study for different types of assessments, things of that nature. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Charlie, did you have something? No. Any other board matters for tonight?
I'll make a motion we adjourn.
All right,
I'll
thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Kim. All those in favor of adjourning, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All right.
All those opposed, abstentions? All right, we are adjourned.
Yeah, Shane, thank you so much. The CT program has been coming